Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome back to the Ahn Project. This is a psychiatric, self-therapeutic, multimedia project to solve the problems, challenges, obstacles in our lives, as well as a self-improvement process to reach the high goals and ambitions that we have set for ourselves, as well as those around us. If you would like a brief introduction, a brief summary as how I break down the Ahn Project into domains of life, sub-series, so on and so forth, including the live stream schedule, copyright-free music, and how we divide the stream into segments, 11 segments, 3 phases, and across a 15-minute live stream, that won't take too much of your time. You can check that out on the previous live streams for the past 3.5 years straight up to January 2021 and beyond for more updated versions. That being said, diving into the second segment as usual, you can skip the introduction if you're watching as a VOD or video on demand on Twitch, YouTube afterwards by just skipping ahead by 1 minute to about 2 minutes. Second thing, of course, is this is a Sol 75 override standing for System Override version 7.5. Means it's a rule to break all other rules, a system principle to free myself from the system and be totally practical and focus only on what's urgently needed to get done. So with that being said, let's just dive into the content. Take a look on screens. What you see is what you get. We have a whole bunch of stuff from commentary, storytelling, lots of media assets, food, nutrition, so on and so forth, equipment. It's just a whole lot of stuff: finance, volunteering, employment, relationships. So let's just get right into it. I gotta say that at least 3 of these, I'm gonna lower the volume, at least 3 of these, aside from the bottom right hand corner, a good majority of these things I actually covered the collages on the previous day, so yesterday and the day before. So for example, the one on the top left right now, I'm expanding, having to do with education and so on and so forth. Talked about this in previous live stream. Equipment and gifts for my fellow colleagues who are like family to me, and who I feel like I've done a lot of wrong, but it turns out I've also done a lot of good. So we'll touch upon that. We also have a lot of stuff here too: employment, Excel databasing, as well as business, health, nutrition, supplementation. A whole bunch of stuff there too, again covered yesterday. And same thing here in the backdrop here, having to do with news, politics, and again more stuff, audio recordings, media assets, and finance. The new ones, of course, for today are these ones right here, just the very top 2 columns actually. So we still have, in the past 24 hours, a bunch of new stuff I have to do with business. Once again, more philosophy, more stoic science, and so on and so forth. So let's try to get through everything. And a lot of connections. I have hit people up on Facebook and so on and so forth. So, and phone calls. Where do we leave off? Oh my god, that's a lot of stuff, huh? So let's start off from yesterday. And I want to say that, of course, in the title, you do see that. Let me pull up the logo. You do see that the title says Disillusionment, and we will try to get to that as well as through the title. You also see $230 so worth of items. So I want to talk about that in region right here, D4, before we start. So phase 3 is going to happen first. We have to cover very quickly the fact that we have all these products here before we go into phase 2, which has all the digital stuff I just showcased. So here's all the soap and business products that I have from my clients, and here's my own purchases on a monthly basis: Procosa, Sound Health Sciences, so on and so forth. And so this is stuff that I will be shelving away up there in region C1, C2. Same thing with the bags. I'll keep one of these bags here and put all the soap inside there and give it to my clients. So just typically there's about 3 of them so far. 3 of these soap bottles with the syringe, and that's about it. And I flatten the bags and as well as the products, and I'll put it inside C1, C2. So while we're in phase 3, I also want to mention there's some garbage I want to clear away. I forgot to mention yesterday at the end of the live stream, I tossed these chopsticks away representing the dim sum I received. Dim sum, 小搞号买, all that kind of stuff that I received from my grandmother and on my maternal side. So all this trash, garbage, so I would throw these away. And I forgot to mention yesterday as well that I had to replenish the bottles of Biomega. So these 2, one of this is empty, the other one's from up there in C1, C2. So I'm placed over here as I take off the wrap, and then toss this bottle here as a sample. This garbage goes inside the chips bag, and then we're going to take it over to D1 and solve the trash. And I still have to go downstairs, switch this up, and get the clothing, but maybe tomorrow. Don't really know. So let's dive into phase 2 now. I can't believe we did phase 3 first, but alright. So phase 3 was more physical, right? More engaging part of the stream. Phase 2, we go to the media assets. Okay. So let's start where we left off yesterday. This is like the recordings I set on the laptop just to record myself speaking about what needs to be spoken about. And I'm gonna have to jump back and forth between typing as well as speaking. I'm trying to change the default way in which I speak, the way I think, the way I feel, change my behavior in general. And so that's what this recording is about. Well, we have another one up there, in fact, right here. So this one was a previous day, ran for about an hour and 39 minutes, so I can get rid of that as well too. So let's go back down here for a second and continue off of yesterday. So Stoic reflections and so on and so forth, as well as University of Waterloo Engineering, purpose of life. Again, Stoic, all this stuff is on Instagram. It's on Stoic Reflections and University of Waterloo, not my stuff, copyright notice. So I don't take ownership for this. But the purpose of life is find the largest burden that you can bear and bearing it, by Jordan Peterson. Now, of course, I don't like the way that he expressed it. That's actually a bit of a misconception, I feel, of Stoicism, which is what a lot of people have commented below. However, if you read between the lines, you understand the gist of what Peterson's saying. So I'll let you sort of interpret that on your own. It's too much to cover in this stream. Same thing with University. Okay, and then we move on to not same thing, but onto University of Waterloo Engineering. Before that, same thing was said by some commentators on Stoic Reflections, and they say no, they don't exactly agree. And this guy here, Dialogue, gives a pretty good synopsis. It's like not so much to bear the burden as a purpose in itself, but rather as a coping mechanism you're speaking of, and that you derive meaning from pursuing things like that. So again, people are responding, and there's a very nice dialogue there. So very nice discussion, indeed. And then we move on the side here again, University of Waterloo Engineering. I just saw this post they had yesterday, my alma mater, and they're talking about how they upped recruitment through these new so-called innovative methods over the course of the pandemic. So now I don't know if I would say I agree with what they're doing, but I can definitely say that they are doing things creatively. And if there's one thing I always like about my university, is that they were always very I guess creative, out of the box. They do things out of the box. Now, Stoic Reflections, once again, this is for actually today's. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop, by Confucius. And this one I have much more agreement with in terms of Stoicism. Just don't give up, basically. And then School Life London here is talking about, this one's a more, I guess, liberal as opposed to conservative approach to philosophy, but they're talking about how to be more, I guess, a better parent. So with that being said, let's dive back down. There's a lot of stuff that was not having to do with, so I want to showcase now. Okay, this is a bunch of stuff, the collage. Oh, I did this yesterday, didn't I? So this is just a collage, four screenshots of collages that I did yesterday for a live stream again, having a lot to do with the food, the dim sum from the previous day, tomatoes, so on and so forth. You can see me in my suit here as well. The politics, the shelving units. This is all from the previous live stream. Same thing here with this is the Usana Health Science products again beforehand, as well as the Adidas shirt I'm wearing now. I'm switching up my uniform now. I've resigned, and we talked all about the relationships on the left hand side. But again, you see the Usana before after pics. That's important because the invoices and everything stashed away. My new sort of returning back to civilian life, almost like getting photography on that, and then the invoices up here in a sense, as well as the dim sum that I received, like a congee and fried fish from my gran. Okay, moving on. Now we go to emails. So we're going to employment, finances, and volunteering, and business. This kind of for volunteering business. So this first employment I received on my email from one of the agencies that temp staffing agencies I'm with. So some interesting things: shipping, receiving, permanent. Again, I've resigned, so this is going to be a very interesting take. I don't think that I'll be applying to anything here, but it'll be interesting enough to see. Top jobs, we are hiring by Express, and so on and so forth. They have many different franchises. Here's one that's more professional that they're kind of releasing. Obviously, it's not for me, but accountant, auditor, and 85,000. But it's not my kind of thing either. Again, could try for it, but it's not my expertise, so it would not be doing the client any favor. Over here, we move on the side. This is covering me documenting some new paperwork that I received. So invoices, I received invoices. I also received mail from one of my volunteers, organizations, long-term care seniors home. So recognition night. So I had to scan, document, and upload it onto the laptop, which you see on top right-hand corner. Once again, so all this stuff has been documented, and I had to put it onto the database, kind of like inventory tracking. So that's what that's all about. It's all uploaded onto Cloud Drive and so on and so forth. Okay, moving on. What you see here on this panel here, indicated by progress. This one has to do with the hospital that I also volunteer at. And I haven't been there in person for a while, obviously due to COVID-19. It's not really safe. But the point is, there are many courses that I had to refresh on, but due to something wrong with my account. I believe it's just because I haven't been actively volunteering. Sorry, it means that I have to retake the courses, but I can't because my account's sort of been deactivated. So I might have to get in touch with my coordinator and start asking her. I'll probably have to update my vaccinations with COVID, but also most importantly, I want to ask her what positions they have right now that I can do sort of away from the hospital, like phone calling for dialysis and patients that I don't have to go out in person. So that's that. I received that by email, that notice about my courses expiring, my certifications. Now this has a lot. That was a lot to say. Okay, top right hand corner, important notice regarding what? That one has to do with finance. These two right here. So you see like balance protection. Important information. I thought it was spam. It arrived in the junk, but turns out it was one of my legit banks. And in fact, they were just updating policies about interest rates. It was important for me to read, but it didn't really affect me that much. On this side, business now, we're moving to business, research, and health, biomedical research. So I just had to update my monthly orders of Usana Health Sciences, and you can see right here some of the products, the essential pack. Again, about $200 worth of product. It's quite expensive, but it's very good for your health. Biomega Health Plus, Procosa, and I switched it out for Health Essentials pack. So that's something I have to do on a monthly basis. Then here is the, like I said, invitation I received from the volunteer organization, Long-Term Care Seniors Home. Volunteer coordinator got in touch with me. I have not registered. Of course, I was working that Friday. That was yesterday. And so I wrote an email and sent it to her. Thanks for the invitation. Hope you have a great time. It's just a draft. I didn't actually put a GIF. But the point was, I can't attend. So here's some bingo game, volunteer sharing, virtual social gathering. And she was nice enough to say, hope that that my family's doing well and everything, and myself. So that's that. Once again, and that's when the recording ended on the laptop, so that was interesting. And then here's me showing exactly how long the recording was, and so 1 hour 39 minutes, and then I just kind of ended it there, and then I had to move it from my laptop file folder over to desktop and save it onto the drive that I have. Moving on, we have like only 2 minutes left on stream, so we'll see what we can get done. This one, so here it is. Once again, I renamed it, and that's the file right there. It's like MSW, so time for Windows 10 kind of recording. Now we're coming on to politics, and MS is not the best source of news, but the fact is, this is 2 articles here. One is about pandemic era safety measures. Parents try and fight for that. Again, very controversial. A lot of people in the comment section don't agree with that, and that's fine. Lots of liberal versus conservatism right there, back and forth. And here's a little bit of a funny thing here. There was one kind of news article on how a socialist sort of organization had to fire one of their top members for corruption and harassment. So it was very ironic, and then the comments were kind of laughing at that. So it was interesting. Once again, I'm not going to get too much into politics here. Anyways, okay, so you see the points balance. So these two have to do more with this one on the right hand side, the left hand side, sorry. Me checking, I had to do like a kind of like a bank check, just go on once in a while, every 21 days you want to make sure that you have checked all your credit cards and bank accounts, make sure you don't have any interest accruing, and so on and so forth. Once again, on the top left hand corner, this one refers also to the PDF I had to download regarding the new changes to one of the cards of banking institutions. And then the right hand side panel is just me I believe it's just me sort of searching up, just going to the back, but I can't show it because obviously it's confidential. It's all private information. I'm talking about banking here, obviously. So at that same time, right, here's me after I finished the draft of the email volunteering, sent it out to my volunteer coordinator. I have 30 seconds left, and now we're caught up to today's kind of stuff, which is this philosophy stuff. Now moving on, we also want to, in the last 20 seconds, finish off. So relationships here with my cousins, I have to get back to some notifications on both my paternal and maternal side. Haven't seen them. And I want to talk about here disillusionment, parent team. So I had to, this is difficult in the last 10 seconds, but the point is, employment wise, I realized I've been trying to show the people in my department how to work as a team and be a role model for them, almost like a parent, because my own parents were never much parents, and same way with my colleagues. So I have to end off here. We'll continue this tomorrow morning, or actually later on today. So I probably will run a second live stream later today, thanks to it being kind of like a weekend, but we'll see what happens. This is tomorrow.